So before I perform this piece, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the piece as well as its composer, Claude Debussy. So Debussy was one of the most influential composers of the 20th century, mostly due to his focus on Impressionism, which is a style where melodies that seem strange or unconventional are used to create a certain atmosphere or image. And this piece, Reflections in the Water, is an especially great example of Debussy's Impressionist style. A way I like to think about the piece is that it's trying to recreate all of the various interactions between the water, the reflections in the water, as well as the light that's creating the reflections. And so in some parts there might be more focus on the water, in some parts there might be more focus on the light, and some parts there's equal focus on both. And so I have a few parts I'd like to go over so everyone can get a better idea of how Debussy represents these ideas. So the first part I'd like to talk about is where there's more focus on the water than there is light, which is here. So here, the right hand is representing the water sort of flowing back and forth or up and down. And you could think of this as maybe like a wave, an ocean wave crashing on the shore, since it's like the water coming forward and then pulling back over and over. And just like how the right hand is flowing up and down the piano. And the left hand here is representing the light with all the single notes at the top, which could represent like the pinpricks of light hitting the surface of the water. Another part I want to talk about is here, where there's more light than water, in contrast to the previous part. So here, the right hand and left hand are working together to represent a certain idea, whether it's the light or the water. The arpeggios flowing down the piano are sort of representing like a waterfall, or maybe water like trickling down a surface, while these dissonant chords are much louder and represent the light. So you could say that the light in this part is much more intense and maybe even harsh compared to the much more smooth and, I guess, gentle water. And this part is an especially good look at how Impressionism is, since you probably noticed that those chords, they don't sound very nice. They're pretty dissonant actually, but they are that way to make a stronger image in your head when you listen to this piece. So while I play this piece, just sit back and relax, but also think about what parts might represent the water or and what parts could represent the light.